Okay then, welcome back to Game 1 of the round of 16 for Challenger League. And this is, of course, Group A. This is the first game of the entire round of 16. And the advancees from today will be finishing in the money. Any top 8 finish is in the money and a guaranteed invite back to next season Challenger League. So there really is everything to play for today. Yeah, the first player, or the first contender for that, is Yellow Zerg, down in the bottom spawn of Barney Research Station from Infinity Protein, Hunta.
And his opponent in the top spawn of Vani Research Station, the Pink Terran representing my insanity, it is Smile. I was talking to Hunta just a little bit before we got into this game, and he was saying he feels like he's definitely one of the contenders for the round of 8, but he's so nervous for that. He feels like he can get there, but once he gets there, he's not sure how it's gonna play out for him.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, it's so tough to call because there's a lot of really top contenders. I think Smile is actually one I would peg as one of those. He has like consistent at least top 30 GM on KR, I believe, as well. So he's on My Insanity as well. So My Insanity's got some incredibly strong players, and I definitely think I have Smile pegged to advance first in this group today. But I tell you what, actually, it's so nice to come back to ASL and not have to do the production myself. I don't have to worry about the observing. Every single match we loaded into, I instantly went like Control Shift O, 3, C, lock onto the observer camera, and every single time I'd be like, no, actually, I'm just locking onto my co-caster's camera, and I should hide that observer overlay and spectate the game myself, which is...
Oh, for Epic LAN or for...
Yeah, for Epic LAN.
Okay.
It's just us.
See, out of Smile, this pretty common Reaper opening, trying to get some drones, but there will be 2 Lings out, should push that back. Now, Smiles is saying very common Reaper opening. He's actually deciding to push out another Reaper instead of going into that Reactor. So I'm kind of curious how much he's going to commit into these Reapers. And even if he does, or if he does, there is a decently, not a late pool, but at least not an early pool for him. So he may have a little bit of something he can go off of there.
Yeah, 3 Reapers actually coming out of Smile, which is quite a heavy commitment, especially considering that Varney Research Station is not, well, it's not the most Reaper unfriendly map, but most of the in-base natural maps are not great for Reapers because if they jump up, they've got a little bit of very much of a choke to move through to actually get into the natural. So they can only really run around harassing or threatening that main base. But of course, they can add a lot of power to a Reaper Hellion sort of push out movement later on, which can deny third bases, especially with the added single target DPS of Reapers. And whoa, they're going to try and move up this ramp. Ramps are a slightly odd decision for Reapers to go up because their main benefit is they don't have to go up ramps.
Yeah, definitely. I was a little bit worried about that one Reaper right there. Should be healing up. I think really what happened is Smile went in for the scout, didn't see the pool wriggling because he actually went in before speed started and said, okay, I have a little bit of a timing that I may be able to make something happen, but he's pulling all 3 Reapers back. I would have liked to see them go into or attempt to get into that in-base natural and see what they can do, because even though the Queens are at the top of that ramp, I feel like they could micro into there and micro out without losing any of them. But to move from there, off of that, Smile going into Starport, getting out double gas now. Looks like he's throwing a Tech Lab down, so I don't think we're going to see any Banshee-esque play or Hellion so far. But, sorry, not Hellion. I don't think we're going to see any Banshee-esque play. It does look like he's going for Hellion at the moment. Maybe we will actually completely wrong there.
Possibility. I've got that Tech Lab switched over onto Starport now, but I think the biggest thing is he's got that he's got a 3rd CC just finishing up now as well. Yeah, with Cloak, I think it could be using Banshees here. But I mean, Hellion Banshee with a 3rd CC behind it, all just kind of really trying to keep Hunta focused on defending and focused on just dealing with these Hellions and Banshees, which require sort of a much bigger investment to in terms of supply and in terms of units you have to produce to get rid of them. But of course, the units that you produce to deal with Hellions and Banshees are usually more useful as army units than Hellions and Banshees tend to be, unless you go into like a mech and a either Sky Terran or like Hellbat mech focused composition. But We'll see whether we see that out of Smile. We do see an army coming in, so we could see a Hellbat Banshee push coming in.
Yeah, Smile trying to put some pressure onto Hunta's third base right now. Now, I don't really think he can actually destroy this third base, but there is no Spine Crawler, so it's a little bit of a light of hope for Smile. I was going to say, as that barracks was transferred from the tech lab, I was like, okay, we're going to see a Marauder. We're going to see a Marauder. Oh, nothing. But Hellions kind of pushing in right now, but the one thing I'm worried about Hunta is he's still droning up. Now, there is a lot of Lings and Banelings, but currently the army of Smile is a very, very fast army, and with some decent micro, may actually be able to take out one of these queens, pulling back for now, and just the speed of this armor right now, Hellion Reaper is so fast, I feel like they can get away from any of these Banelings or these Lings and even possibly kite these Banelings. Banelings trying to be careful from Hunta being pulled back up that ramp. Actually going for the Spore Crawler, which will help Smile a lot once he can start getting these Banshees out, but he still has not made that. Or actually, no, he has one Banshee out.
Yeah, the armory's done now as well, so whenever these Hellbats want, or Hellions want, they can walk into those Hellbats. And Hunter really does not want to let Smile inside the main base, because with this many Hellions now, it's just a huge, huge threat. But at the same time, as soon as Smile moves up that ramp, he makes himself very, very vulnerable to getting some, taking some big hits from the Banelings. But Hunter's going to start taking some more and more losses. The Banshee comes in and starts focusing down these Banelings. And now there's the Hellbat.
Some big, huge hits.
Yeah, decent split, but still good hits, and 2 Hellbats left over coming from the reinforcement, but they have cleaned up every single Ling. The Banshee's gone down, and there's 3 Queens left. They should be able to clean this up, though.
Yeah, those hits are really big right now. Really, for Smile, he can keep on this aggression only with the Banshees. I don't think he has enough factory production just for now, because for our 3 Queens with Transfuses should deal with anything that's going to come right at the moment. But I really liked using that Banshee. At first, what I thought he was really going to do is those Queens were holding back for a while, and that was really kind of either Smile wanted to take out the Queens or take out what is at the third, but the Banshee really forced those Queens to move forward because they could not stay at home. Looks like Hunta will be moving across the map, though, catching one Hellion off guard. That will give Smile a little bit of a warning here. One Hellion at home, but really not much to deal with at home. But the Lings will actually come back and kited by these Hellions pretty nicely, actually, leaving one to die. Actually losing a second. One of the Hellbats. Hellions pushing these Lings back, but Lings did a little bit of took a little bit of damage into there. But we do see off the back of this Hunta going into Spire, which very common in its position. I wouldn't at all be surprised if Smile anticipates it, which it kind of looks, or actually I'd say it doesn't look like he is. Still going Helen, no, getting the Thor out. Or as I say that, I'm incorrect, but definitely just very common for the Zerg after this Ling pressure, off the 3 bases to go into that Spire play, and that's exactly what it's doing, and Smile knows about it, so I'm really curious to see if he's going to keep pressuring, if he's actually going to pressure or just kind of stay outside the base to buy him as long as he can.
Yeah, I think Smile's just kind of going to stay on this 4th base and try and deny it for as long as possible, because on 3 CCs, obviously, with the Zerg on 3 hatcheries, Terran Field pretty comfortable, and that Thor coming in is no surprise at all to me, because as a mech player, you absolutely cannot afford to delay your anti-air for too long, because, I mean, it's absolutely game over. Like, if even 8 or so Mutalisk gets into a base and you have no anti-air, no way of getting it, or even if you just have no anti-air, you've got the armory and tech labs down, the Mutalisk can start focusing down factories before they build doors, and it can be 100% game over. On the other hand, same thing sort of applies for Zergs. If these Banshees focus down the Queen, then it's going to be tough. 2 Banshees kill Queens pretty quickly. Not small.
But he does not want to move. He just loses one of the Banshees, pulls back only after that. Not good for Smile right there. I think he really had superiority for a while and would have done a lot better in this position, but it looks like these Queens probably will snipe this Banshee. I doubt it'll get away with a little... Yeah, it's not going to make it there. Will be taken out. Hunta taking the 4th base off the back of this 1-1 is done, and Roach speed. So looking like he's going to the Roaches as he is. He's putting the pressure on some Banelings coming in from the back of the base. They will take out 4 SCVs right there, which is very nice, and these Roaches are moving in. There's only Hellions to defend now, and these Siege Tanks put them desperately out of position. Hunta does not want to overextend, though. With so many Siege Tanks, he can lose his Roach army very quickly.
Yeah, as soon as the Siege Tanks move forward and start getting some hits on those Roaches, he does come back. But I think even just the Banelings did way more than they should have. Smile really should have been paying more attention to his middle line there, I guess. But 3 Banelings did decent damage there, and now the Swarm Host switch comes out of Hunta.
Yeah, I was just going to say earlier on, Smile actually lost 4 or 5 Hellions just from some bailing hits on the left-hand side of the map. You know, that was not good for him. But it looks like, Roach is in a very nice position. Actually saw these Hellions incoming off the creep, and they may see these Swarm Hosts. That'll be huge. They do see the Swarm Hosts popping out, and right now Smile knows what he's got to do here. Pulling out, he will lose the last of these Hellions, and right here, I mean, he has a decent composition to fight what you're going to see out of this Swarm Host style. But he does not have any. He has the siege tanks, but he really needs something else to complement them. He can go mass siege tank, but I mean, your opponent can simply go the meatless crowd. But he does have Thor, so I'm really curious to see how Smile's going to play out a mech version of this, because normally you may see a mech bio mix or a bio against or a bio tank, but you normally don't see I feel like completely mech versus Swarm Host.
Yeah, well, I feel like both compositions are kind of answers to the other. And it ends up just being about who controls best and who gets the trading off. But the Hellions can actually do surprisingly well, fighting Storm attack. This is a really, really nice little sort of pick off from Hunter, getting off a couple of siege tanks for, Locusts. But the Banshees can, of course, do nice work. And also, there's the fact that Hunter wants to be, both players, in fact, want to be sieging up at the others' sort of bases, on the other side.
Yeah,
this is happening. Smile. He's got his siege tanks very, very close to Hunter's 4th base, and Hunter is just having to try and defend this. Really, he wants this gap happening the opposite way around, so every time he pushes forwards a little bit, he's destroying the extractor, as you hit. Whereas, I mean, that's what's happening to Smile right now, and he's got to be pretty happy about that. These Banshees are doing really nicely as well. This is going to be a second Storm Host they pick off. Oh, no, it's not.
What I love about the Banshees right here in this position is, even if the Banshees don't get any damage done, it forces Hunta to have all his queens and all his anti-air with the army, because he cannot let these Swarm Hosts die to these Banshees, which will destroy them with nothing denying that, or with nothing deterring them. So I really like that play with adding a few Banshees in like he did from the early game. He's making 2 more Banshees and more tanks, so just continuing on with this mech play. Off the back of this, we do see Enduring Locust just finishing now for Hunta, so these Locusts will just be a little bit better. And right now, they are moving into this tank line, and Smile needs to be very, very careful, because really, I mean, he can, if he does unsiege, the creep is so close to him in this position that these Roaches can very, very quickly come up upon this tank army, and he wants to be very careful when he retreats, if he does retreat.
Yeah, I actually didn't realise that Hunter had been doing this without Enduring Locust, which is a big, big loss, especially now forward with his Hydralisk, and the Viper's being out as well. A big blinding cloud from his tanks, and that's kind of exactly what you were saying. These Hydras go really quickly with these tanks, and they're going to take a lot of them out. Very, very nice work. And how many Vipers is that already out? 4 Vipers in the first round is pretty nice.
Yeah, on the right-hand side, though, Smile moving in with, it looks like, 6 Blue Flame Hellions, taking out some Cardlisks while they work on it, but the creep spread is just continuing for Hunta here. Hunta pushing forward with these Swarm Hosts, even if these Hellions can get some damage done. I mean, they may harass the mineral line, but I think they will be dead pretty soon with this Roach Hydra army. But just off the back of this, Hunta moving in really quickly with these Swarm Hosts, which is beautiful, but the Banshees should be able to start picking them off with this very first wave of Swarm Host. Actually will be pushed back decently by these siege tanks, but it's very scary for Smile to be in this position. He literally just barely got those siege tanks out in time.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I mean, losing Storm Host is really not something that Hunter wants to do basically for this whole game, really, until it gets to the super late game and Smile maybe is thinking about the air transition. But so far there's actually 7 that have gone down, which is way, way more than really should have for 20 minutes into the game.
Yeah, what I really think is key here, at least for Hunta, is with the composition he currently has, he does not have that many Hydralisks, which you can't really have, obviously, because of so many Swarm Hosts. But because his opponent has this amount of Banshees, his main army has to stay with the Swarm Hosts. They can't move forward a little bit without the army. Normally, it's true, but even in this sense, like we just saw previously, Hunta moved forward very, very aggressively with a Swarm Host while having to pull back to defend those Hellions. So any run-by Smile can do is going to help him so incredibly, because Hunta will have to pull back with some forces.
Yeah, and Smile has been doing really well with those run-bys. I'd love to see Hunter take that watchtower that really covers the run-by route. That's what it's there for, it seems, on Binary Research Station, run-by route and air route. And, I mean, Smile's been doing some great run-bys. We actually see the Banshee, taking that little route. It will be spotted by a couple Overlords, I guess, so hopefully Hunter knows that and will be ready. But, yeah, I mean, again, there's a little run-by just being cleaned up in Hunter's 4th base, and Smile's definitely been the one putting on the aggression, being on Hunter's side of the map more than Hunter has been doing Smile. And now, there's only 3 Swarm Hosts left for Hunter. He's kind of transitioning out of it. He's going towards Ultralisks. Wow.
Really interesting.
Okay, hang on. This is triple upgrades. I love this. I don't care what else happens. I love triple upgrades.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He's going for all his upgrades here and getting the +3 or +2 armor. My bad for these Ultralisks. So definitely transitioning these Ultralisks, which is interesting. I'm not sure for this current mech composition. I feel like they would be amazing if they can catch this army out of position. But really, if you just see the Ultras come, if Smile just moves his siege tanks just a little bit farther spread apart, it really hit an Ultralisk army hard. It looks like Hunta will be moving in a lot of his army to pick up this 4th base of Smile. He will snipe this command center. Now, there is one planetary fortress on the route to Smile's main, at least. Hunta moving in, actually catching a Raven. That was beautiful right there. We do see the Ravens, Vikings being pulled, planetary fortress coming down. Siege tanks actually sieging up here. It looks like Hunta will have to pull back, but that was some beautiful pulls by these Vipers. Vikings will be working on those Overseers, and that'll be key. If he can get rid of those Overseers in any of these situations, he does not have that many here. Actually, he only has 1 Banshee, but any situation, those Banshees can do a lot of damage. Actually, 3 Banshees on the left-hand side, 1 Banshee with the main. But I really like that pushback, and he's actually decided to go on battle cruisers from Smile now. That is kind of the thing you'd see, but it's just kind of funny. We're only at the 23-minute mark. I feel like you see that at the 27, 28, getting into a really the late game.
Yeah, well, I mean, that is the thing about the kind of Stormhost versus Mech. It pretty much goes straight to the late game. Both players going pretty much immediately into their
7 Ultras.
Late game compositions. But yeah, these 7 Ultras are going to be interesting. I kind of want to see Hunta have more Queens with this, because I mean, we all know how powerful Ultralisk and Queens are. Even siege tanks, unless they're one-shotting them, they just don't die. You just hold down T and spam left-click on your Ultras, and they will tear through anything and everything. And I'm kind of hoping that's what we see, because otherwise I feel like Hunter's just going to be throwing waves of enormously expensive resources at a composition which is designed to set up incredibly strong defensive perimeters. But he's not as I play on that, so we'll have to see.
Smile losing one of his forward Vikings right here, and I was going to say, really, if Smile's pushed back from this, he's got the mech production he needs, but he literally has only 1 barracks. So even if he wants to push out some Marauders to deal with these Ultras,
the Ultras are coming in and engaging up in the top left-hand corridor now, and they're doing really nicely. The blinding cloud's going down on every single siege tank. A few Hunter Seekers go down, but not too much avail. And it looks like Hunta actually has broken through Smile's siege line here, and there's not that much left for Smile. He's got the battle cruisers though, and I mean, Ultras apparently do pretty nicely on siege tanks, but I don't feel like they're so hot on battle cruisers. Yeah.
I'm a little bit worried about Smile's economy right now, though. His main is completely mined out. SCV's still their natural mined out. Third, almost mined out. I mean, these SCVs are long distance mining here.
Yeah, I mean that's not what he wants.
not optimal. It's definitely with battle cruisers. I mean, even though he has battle cruisers with the really big Ultralisks, these Lings are going to be so hard to deal with his air. It's going to be very hard. Smile is trying to posture in for a better position. Like you were just saying with Hunta, he's not really adding any queens in, but definitely every single queen you add in only complements the rest of the force and complements the other queens. So no matter what he pushes in with his army, I feel like here is going to be very strong. And especially with so many Lings in these Ultralisks, battle cruisers may be able to deal with the Ultralisks, but the Lings are going to be hard to deal with. But he is getting Smelly Smile. It's a very nice siege tank spread. I think it's a lot better than the first one. Lings trying to get in the right-hand side, will be pushed back, and this group is so far forward, he really needs to push it back like he is.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I was saying, one of the best things about Queens is not just the fact of how powerful Transfuse is, or how surprisingly good anti-aliens they are. Oh, hold on, the other engagement coming forward, Hunter runs into the siege tank front line, but he hasn't got anything. Oh, actually, no, he's got Queens for the battle cruisers. I was just about to say, Queens have a surprisingly good anti-air stuff, and they are so cheap. They're only 150 minerals. They're incredibly cost efficient. The Queens and Titleists are going to push these battle cruisers back as the Ultralists wreak havoc on Smile's base.
Yeah, definitely. These Queens do 7 damage at least first air. No, actually, it's 11. Looking at it right now, I know the base is 11 damage. So very good at getting rid of these battle cruisers. This army of Hunta will just be barely pushed back, but he lost that big mining base we were talking about. He only has the one base that is fully working in the left-hand side for his somewhat 4th or 5th base. Not 100% sure here. But off the back of this, just again, Hunta going into the Hydralisks, and I really like how Smile has kept up this constant siege tank, because sometimes you might see a player saying, okay, my opponent is going into so many of X, so many of Ultralisk, I need a dead counter. But he's still saying, I need to counter it, but these battlecruisers definitely aren't going to be able to deal with these smaller units, these Hydralisks, these Lings. So I really like the composition coming out from him. We do see Hunter taking the gold base, though, but Smile's saying, no, you're not doing that, I need to deny this, because he knows he has to, especially with the creep spread.
Yeah, absolutely. Both players starting to think about what their opponent, will their next composition be, because this sort of like more drawn out game, they both got strong enough economies that they know they'll be able to afford some kind of remax even under these big expensive armies. And Hunter just relentless with the aggression now, having been beaten back a little bit at first. He's now moving forwards again, but there's a lot of battle cruisers up for Smile now. I'm not sure this is going to be enough, but
there is a lot of battle cruisers, but they only have +1 armor. They have +3 attack, but only +1 armor. That was a little bit worrisome.
I mean, maybe, but it looks like enough. They're going to drive them back. And they can fight these Scorpions just fine as well. They do.
Yeah.
I mean, battle cruisers scale really, really well with attack. They have like a 0.25 or 0.24 attack speed, so they attack really, really fast. And obviously, their DPS scales massively with upgrades.
I get that. What I'm feeling, though, is earlier on, Hunta was adding in a lot more Hydralisks. They obviously allowed him down. Actually, right-hand side, though, attacking the planetary fortress, we have 9 Ultralisks just focusing down the fortress. Looks like the only 1 Ultralisk should go down with that engagement right there. The rest will get away on the creep, moving very fast. At least what I meant, though, is really with if he does somehow get tons of Hydralisks out, there's so much damage from these Hydralisks. Smile will definitely need that extra armor if he wants to do it, because out of these Ultralisks, we will be seeing 15 damage at a time with a little slower weapon speed, actually 3 times slower than the battlecruisers, but we'll have to see how this plays out. Currently, Smile just wiping out any anti-air that he can see, and looks like they're just going to focus down this hatchery. You muted yourself, I believe. Alright, these battlecruisers are actually coming back. Jamie, you did mute yourself, I think. These Ultralisks working on the siege tanks right here. Siege tanks being pushed back. Battlecruisers may actually intercept this. Sorry, Ultralisks being pushed back. Battlecruisers may actually intercept this Ultralisk line. Looks like they will. Are you back?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah. I've been muting myself to cough because I am ill. And yeah, I think these battlecruisers have been doing really well at trading with their Yamato as well. They're all on relatively low energy. I mean, some of them are approaching like 99 or whatever, but they need 100 to Yamato, so that's basically 0. Or at least, it's a Yamato soon, but not now. And they've been doing really, really well. They picked off several retreating Ultralisks just then, and that sort of trading power, whenever your opponent comes into range, the Yamato, if it starts getting cast, it will land, versus Zergs at least, with no neural parasites. Versus Protoss, you can actually kind of feedback it, but it's basically impossible to deny Yamato landing once it's at the cast animation's actually started, and it's been really nice from nice little roach runway from Hunter, just kind of forcing that energy for actual units damage trade.
Yeah, definitely. Right now, really the point of contention here will be the bases in the middle. So far, Hunta has been denying that it technically would be the 5th base, but really the 2nd mining base for Smile here. And he's been denying that quite well, but at the same time, Smile's been doing very well on that. But still, Hunta, just with the composition he has to be careful, but whatever damage, either of these players, whatever damage they get done, they will just annihilate the enemy. As you're saying, the battlecruisers just decimate the bases, but I mean, with the amount of Hydralisks here, these battlecruisers have to be very careful, and they really want to engage with the siege tanks or flanking as the siege tanks are hit.
Yeah, especially now the Vipers are starting to hit the field, and they can sort of yoink battlecruisers out of position if they even like a fraction away from their defensive siege tanks, but Hunter looks like he's going to try and come in. There's a lot of Hydralisks there, aren't there?
Yeah, there's so many actually. There's good. I don't know. I can't even count that at the moment. Coming here, battlecruisers pushing this army back. This army has to be very, very careful, and especially if Smile can deny this creep spread, that'll be a huge win for him. Just pushing his opponent Hunta back slightly, as you're saying, because this really is, he needs to hold on to this base right here. But I do really like these opponent defense drones in nice positions. These Hydralisks can't do anything against that. And the one Viper with the army now that probably just from before that survived for so long, but I'm very curious if he had a couple Vipers, how that might work out versus their army.
Well, he actually just rebuilt it. A second one's coming in now, so I think your curiosity is going to be satisfied pretty soon, and I think it's a good choice because
I agree,
especially with when they get into that kind of deathball battle group competition where it's very, very difficult to take an engagement all at once. I mean, that's what Vipers do. They mean you're engaging one unit or 2 units at a time rather than their entire army. And even if Smile does use those Yamato cannons to trade, it'll likely be trading either against probably against the Vipers will be the main targets, but if not, the Hydralisks will be the easiest thing to get a bunch of Yamatos down on, and it takes quite a lot of Hydralisks to make a cost for cost even trade with a battlecruiser, because battlecruisers are expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I really like this from Hunta making the concave because he knows the creep has been denied, so he doesn't really have a hold on to just what's right in front of him here. And I also like from Smile, his siege tanks are so spread out. In the first couple battles, he lost so much because they were so close, and either the Blinding Cloud or the Ultralisk damaged them. So I really like that from him, learning from his mistakes in the first couple battles. Oh, and one Viper will pull back the battlefield. The second might maybe pull back the Yamato cannon trying to happen on that. These Hydralisks getting a nice concave, but they'll have to pull back because they're fighting with the point defense drone. And I'd love to see these tanks that are kind of farther back in a position defending this 4th base to be moved forward, and then if there is some sort of run by on, sorry, not on this 4th, on this 5th base, if there is some sort of run by on the 5th base, just to pull back, because I think these tanks, I mean, right now he's got 8 tanks just holding him down in the back. If he moved those forward, that would hit the Hydralisk so hard.
Yeah, absolutely. He kind of does have to, but at the same time, if he moves the tanks forwards, then that makes Hunter can just yoink them instead. It's one of the great things I like. There's pretty much always something to trade for, especially when you don't have the enormous power that High Templar have to zone them out. A few Vikings, I think, wouldn't go amiss in Smile's composition because they do, like with 9 range, they I think are the same as or just 1 less than Abduct. So also being much cheaper than battlecruisers. You don't necessarily actually want to be using your relatively valuable Viper energy on abducting a couple of Vikings. Yeah.
I love this from Smile. I would say I love this from Smile, just being like, nope, I'm actually going to try to take this gold, which I think is a very good idea, and actually putting a command center pretty close to it, but this is going to be so hard to hold, especially when creep is so close. I mean, you can't even land the center right there. Am I lagging the game, by the way? I'm seeing a little bit of lag for me, but I don't know if it's for me or for...
I'm not saying anything, but we'll see what the players say.
If they say anything, yeah. Point defense drone in a very nice position.
Yeah, and a couple of Hunter-Seeker missiles do fizz out. But, I mean, they forced the Hydralisk back for long enough for Smile to get a couple of siege tanks in position and drive these Hydralisks back, so really nicely done there.
Yeah, and I really like these Ravens being mixed in that he's really kept for a long time. The point defense drones and definitely just any of those Seeker missiles have done so much damage and just really not allowing Hunter to stay in the same place for too long, which with his army, or not necessarily staying in the same place, but with his army pushing forward makes it very hard when you're pushing forward into explosives. And a couple more scans going down for Smile, really just trying to make sure he knows where the army is and denying this creep spread because he is slowly taking these bases, but in the top right-hand side corner, there's a Hellion run-by into the gold base of Smile, which is taken by Hunta. Hellbat's being morphed, and that's not going to survive because if Hunta does move to defend that, which it looks like he's sending a couple roaches, I mean, he really can't do that because he cannot afford to defend that right-hand side, but it looks like actually Smile's actually saying, never mind, pulling his army back and moving so many siege tanks forward. I love this long-distance mining. It's so cool to see just because it's not like he's long-distance mining. He actually threw the command center there because he knows he can't put it there. It's so cool.
Yeah, he can, of course, move it. Oh, he didn't make it into Planet Force. That's the thing. Hey, I mean, I think he's going to rebuild a new CC there when he's cleared out.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
But for this gold base up at the top right for Hunter, I think this is a really great investment because being a gold base first, it'll mine out faster and gives, I think, about this. It gives a little bit less minerals total than a regular base, but
because it gets in faster, which is what he needs. Because right now it is a waiting game, but it's definitely when the first player the first player to make that big hit, that big win in a game is going to take such a huge advantage because the production out of these two players, or actually at least out of Smile's not good. A lot of battlecruisers being pulled in to this army, and there's just so many point defense drones actually canceling so many Hydralisks.
Oh, the Hunter-Seeker missiles about to land, and boom, a lot of Hydralisks obliterated that. fiery deaths, and both players kind of backing off. I kind of feel like Smile could have pushed forwards a bit there, but he elects not to, and that's the power of those Ravens. That's so deceptive because you don't see it until a big engagement comes down, and then they just single-handedly turn the tide of the fight. Yeah. And as I was saying about that gold base on top right, there's a not indistinct possibility that we will see the entire map mined out in this game, because I mean it's mech versus Zerg. So if Hunter has managed to mine out that top right base and take it away from Smile, and of course Hunter has already basically mined out his equipment base, if he manages to do that, he will be a full 2 bases of minerals up on his opponent. He can afford to keep on trading a little bit cost ineffectively. Although it looks like actually he's been trading cost effectively so far, which is enormously impressive without swarm hosts.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's been very impressive, all the engagement he's taken. He did poke forward a little while ago, but I mean, you can't do much against 8-point defense drones right here. It's really, really hard to do anything against that. It looks like a big engagement happening. Crocus coming on the right-hand side, but actually into those point defense drones. Ultralisk engaging the left-hand side. One Seeker missile down on one Ultralisk, but it will be destroyed. These Ultralisk wrecking mayhem onto these siege tanks, but the battlecruisers are still alive, and just so many shots have been tanked up by these point defense drones. Queens are left, and they just barely will take down the battlecruiser. Ultralisk pushing back all the rest of the siege tanks, this 4th base, or the whatever base this is on top of the gold for Smile, will have to be pulled back, and these Truppers are working on it. I see these being taken out as they mine to and fro. 24 lanes coming out of this, and off the back of this, Smile does have 6 factories, but a Zerg player, but we have 6 bases. The production is insane if he keeps up those injects.
Coming in only when he knows he has the bank to start a remax. Although actually, having said that, this time it looks like he's struggling a little bit with that gas count. Sitting at 1,500 minerals, but only at 200 gas, and he's now jumped up to 140. I was 146 alive, but that still leaves him above his opponent. And oh my god,
so many SCVs,
there. Yeah. But I mean, they're still in a pretty vulnerable location, so we could see them taken out, especially with all the Ultras splash coming out. They're making their way back. He's killed the SCVs.
Ultralisk doing so much damage right here. Just these SCV lines, SCVs. I don't know. I feel like I'm sure he sees this and he's just deciding, no, I need to keep mining here. I guess Raven's getting a lot of damage done with these. Actually doing a lot of annoyance here. Really more of harassment from these Ravens. Not really actually can do much about the Ultralisk though. Off the back of this, there is 6 factories producing, but I just don't know if that'll be enough with this amount of Ultralisk. Whatever base this is, I can't really count here. The 5th base from Smile will be denied also. And like we were saying, the point of contention in these long games is the economy. Can you keep up that economy? Can you keep remaxing? And even though we have 4 or 3,500 minerals for Smile, I mean he only has 1 barrack, so it's not gonna see much without the gas, which he desperately needs.
Smile's down on 1 SCV right now, and I don't care how good mules are. That's not really good at any stage of the game, especially not when you only got 111 gas left. Every single unit right now, mech unit for Smile, is so valuable. He knows he can't afford to lose anymore. He's lost them all, and GG. Okay then, welcome back. It's going to be map 2 here. And the first player, 1 game down, and therefore 1 game away from losing, from moving down into the losers bracket. It is a pink Terran player from My Insanity, Smile.
And his opponent taking the 4 o'clock position on Catalina, playing for Infinity Probe, currently up 1 game. It is Hunta.
Oh yeah, and there's that first Reaper out of Smile. I would have thought if he went 3 Reapers on Varney, I got to think he'd have to go 3 Reapers on Catalina.
Yeah, I agree. Really, this would be the optimal thing. Even though he did it on the first map, but just on Catalina, you have so much more of a better time doing it here. But he did not get the optimal position, at least for Reapers. He could have done it a little bit better from the 2 o'clock position, but obviously does not get that that possibility here. It does look like Hunta going for what I think was or it was Hatch first right there. So I'm liking that from Hunta. And curious how he's going to play this out in this second game, whether he's going to do the same thing he did in the first game, because I'm sure Smile is literally going to do the exact same thing, because it looks like he will pump out the second Reaper. I'm sure he's going to go to the third without even scouting into the main of Hunta.
Yeah, and I don't know, Varney, I feel... sorry, Catalina is, I think, a bit less of a Swarm Host / mech map than Varney. Varney being much kind of longer and without really weird circuitous attack routes and like central bases you can take and then pressure other bases from with Swarm Hosts. I kind of feel like Mech will be a little less strong and Hunter's kind of less siegey style will be a little bit more strong. So I wonder if Smile won't mix up and go bio or something.
Yeah, I agree with that bio-wise. I do think it's actually... I'm actually going to say that I think Mech might be a little bit better, at least for Smile, because defending a third base is going to be a lot easier when you're defending it away from your opponent and not expanding into your opponent like he was in the first game. And that really kind of put him back because Hunta had so much creep spread right there and kept going forward, so it was really hard to get a good economy. And I feel like that may favor Smile. Now, bio is a better choice on this map, I think, but I think he may be able to make something happen here. With Mech at least.
Maybe so. Has Smile gone bio so far in the tournament?
Say it again?
Has
no,
Smile
he's not gone bio. No.
He's not gone bio. He's gone
once. Mech. Oh, he has?
No, I was asking. He's not gone bio once. Oh. He's doing good damage here, and actually, this is what we were talking about. He obviously has gone up to a 3 recomposition. So far, they've got at least 2 drone kills, 3 drone kills, and 2 link kills. So, Smart has been really making them work very, very nicely for him, and we see the 3cc build once again, followed up with his Banshees, and so I'm pretty sure he is going to just stick with basically what he did last game and try and make it work a little better, but he's definitely gotten off to a much, much better start with the kills on those Reapers.
Yeah, these Reapers so powerful on Catalina. Definitely, you can get into the main easy, and then at least if you're into the third, you can pull back so easily because of these cliffs. Now, for Smile, actually, I think every single game we've seen him Reaper open into Factory, and I think almost every game we've seen him Banshee act. No, I remember discussing this with you, saying how even though Smile only goes Mech, he's definitely varied it up. So actually I'm going to say he's gone Mech every time, not the same opening, but he definitely favors this Reaper opening, which is really, unless you're doing some sort of crazy early Hellion play, or not crazy early, but unless you're doing some sort of like Hellion play, really the only other option is to do Reapers from the start.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, getting those 2 extra Reapers does delay your Factory by, basically the build time of the 2 Reapers.
What I mean is the options from Terran to go into Mech is you really kind of you go into Hellion and then you go into Reaper. Obviously Banshee can come from either of those, but you kind of go into one, or you do like he's doing it, mixing it.
I guess I kind of see where you're coming from. You can just go like super greedy and super defensive by getting like CC rack CC, or even like CC CC rack CC realistically, and then going for siege tanks and just completely skipping your Hellions and trying to be a bit more defensive with it. But that's still not very safe to big roach plays or roach bane busts or anything. But I don't know. There's a few more options, but I mean, obviously, far and away, anything involving Hellions is the most standard thing in CVT.
Right now, these Hellions are moving in, and actually, the force for Smile may be enough to deal with these this amount of queens. I think it actually is, just barely. Not with Transfuse, though. There is some Transfuse and some nice baneling positions. And we saw this from Spear, and it's not uncommon to see, but I just love when you see out of Terrans just sending the first Viking around to see whatever Overlords they can catch, because he took out 2 Overlords, and that's always really big in the early game, depending on if you're being aggressive, if you can supply block your opponent, and then get into a sticky situation where your opponent needs those units, has the minerals, but does not have the production.
Not only that, but denying the scouting for your opponent. So Hunter may be assuming that Smile is going Mech again, being moaned a bit of a Mech player, but We see Stim and those bio upgrades coming out of Smile, so it looks like he will be mixing some bio into the composition, which is really, really cool to see, I think. Of course, Hunter may already be tipped off this by the fact that there weren't as many Hellions this game as last game, but I mean, this is like 6 to 8 Hellions is a much more typical count for a bio player, and here we see 6 out of Smile. I don't think he's lost any. No, so yeah, this is looking a little bit more normal. They're going to try and run in here towards third, and should be able to get a few drones there lining up, but he does get out. Not losing any Hellions once again, because Queens just don't kill things very fast.
Yeah, Queen's definitely not too good, but like I've said before, every Queen that you put in that force just complements the extra other Queens even better. And on the top of this, really, is Hunta. I mean, he may know this force is coming, but what Smile did, denying that Scouting actually does know the force is coming, a Changeling will move by the army, sees those Marines. Now, these Marines, though, do they have Stim? Yeah, they do have Stim. Very good, very good. All right, so this will prove to be a strong attack, especially with 1-1 just done for Smile. It's not like you're in a later game, you've gone mech, and now you're going into bio, and you're like, oh no, I don't have my upgrades for it. He does have his upgrades, and he's ready to really start putting some pressure on. My only worry for him is, or actually not my worry, that my only thing for in his battles though is Hunta is pretty much completely prepared for this composition-wise. He's not transferred into Roach, or he's not transferred into some other composition which he didn't want. Transitioned.
No, he's not gone for Roach Hider. I think just regular old Ling Mei Muta, but he doesn't have he doesn't have Bailing Speed yet though, so this little push forwards from Smile is still pretty dangerously timed. However, these Marines without combat shields, they will die to 1 Bailing hit after they've been stimmed and not healed. So they're in a dangerous sort of situation, the timing here. And Hunter's getting good engagement coming around from the backside as well, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough. Smile's got some decent fighting speed comes in though, and it's just still not enough. Smile has a few used those units over, but the Queens have a decent count and a lot of transfusions on them. So with the next wave of Lings coming in, it looks like Hunter will be able to push this back. Oh, yeah, they're such a health.
Yeah, there was a very, very nice flank we saw from Hunter right there, and these Widow Mines dealt with about half of it, but it still went and did a lot of damage. So Baneling speed is done, and on to boot, Overlord speed is done. So this time Hunter's saying, I'm going to know what you're doing before you actually make that. Widow Mine's being triggered. Another Widow Mine will be triggered. Almost was not good for Hunter right there, but these medevacs will have to pull back. And I'd love to see a sneaky drop, maybe into the maybe into the natural. I'm sorry again, I'm looking at the main and I'm saying all the wrong bases. In the main, I'd love to see some sort of drop into the main while you're pressuring that third, because they are so far away. Like, if you're, it is the farthest away currently base, and I think that'd be a really cool thing to do, but we do see Mitos coming out for Hunta, which do have the speed to deal with just about any of those quick attacks.
Yeah, Mutos are fantastic for drop defense, of course, and Smile's pushing in, he's regrouped his forces, and he's coming back for a second go at that fourth base, but I mean, it looks like he scans, doesn't like what he sees, and is going to head on back home. He's got a really interesting style of mixing a lot more Hellbats into his composition, which we don't typically see. We usually only see, like, a couple, but certainly in his first push he had quite a lot, and I just kind of hope he doesn't try and replace Widow Mines too much, because Widow Mines are so versatile with the splash damage against the Mutalisks, and they can have the potential for utterly engagement-changing hits on Banelings, or even the Lings can do a lot of damage on. But Hunter's going in for a big engagement now again, but still no combat shields finished for Smile. Means their Baneling hits are going to be really, really massive. Not massive enough for this round, but I think round 2 will push this back.
Yeah, combat shield's 30 or 20 seconds away now. Looks like these Lings actually making up the Lings and the Mutas making it a GG. Oh wow. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the ASL Challenger League's round of 16 Group A. On Secret Spring in the bottom left-hand corner, the man who enjoys playing mech into bio, maybe this game, playing the Pink Terran race. From my insanity, it is Smile. I'd love to see him do what he did in game 2 again, just going into bio but getting combat shield this time.
He did get the combat shield, just a little bit surprisingly late, but I mean, he managed to close the game off anyway, so maybe he'll manage it this game. But anyway, his opponent is going to be spawning up in the top right of Secret Spring. And he is going to be playing as the Blue Zerg from Infinity Pro Team, Hunta.
And to start off this match, Hunta actually, or start off this game, Hunta actually going into the pool first. So I feel like you have two sides of this. You have the side that my opponent may cheese me, go into the Heavy Reapers, but then you have this just straight up the map, which is, okay, this economic map. So definitely I feel like some mind games are going on right here. Not even mind games, but just physical pressure games. Like, oh no, I need to come out of this.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, obviously Hunter is going to scout this really, really nicely. It's a little bit surprising though. Wow, Smile actually cancels it. How far through completion was that? I kind of wondering if he could have let Hunter get out of range before he cancelled it. But either way, not a huge loss, I guess. All in all, his orb command was a little delayed, and he lost some SCV mining time, and of course the actual cancellation minerals. But overall, not awful. And wow, Smile actually not going for the 3 Reaper opening this time, which I think is pretty nice. We discussed a little bit earlier how in-base natural maps are typically a little worse for Reapers because they have a less direct route into the natural, often don't necessarily have like a straight route in the main. However, Secret Spring is one of the better ones just because, oh my god, so much space around the main for Reapers and Blinkstalker to jump up.
Yeah, and I think right now, at least Hunta doing that pool first will help him just a little bit, getting that Ling's speed out earlier. But I'm curious what we're going to see out of this factory. We see double gas, so we could see Banshee, we could see Hellions, we could see there's a variety of kind of the harassy plays we see out of Terran coming out of here, and I'm very curious to see what's going to happen with that, especially with Hunta already having speed out in these Lings, and a pretty early speed for him. So I'm just curious. What do you think we're really going to see out of? Oh, I guess Starport down now. Smile putting onto the reactor, which I actually really like that position, just so you can switch up those buildings and still have a gate, or not a gate, still have a block down. But I'm guessing we're going to see the Banshees, maybe. I'm not sure.
Well, I think we'll have to kind of find out based on what comes down on this barracks. But it looks like it's just going to be Marine. So. It could be a Hellion drop, could be just slightly slower Banshees. There are 2 gases, but Smile has stopped mining. He's only got 2 in one of them. So that's what I was
kind of going into Banshees or Hellion stuff. He's like, well, he's got 2 gases.
Oh, it's going to be drops. It's going to be a medevac coming out of this. Boom!
Nice. Supply blocked, though.
The Starport. The Starport was rallied onto a Hellion. So I could tell.
The Starport was what to a Hellion? Alright, well, we do see a third base coming down for Hunta, which will be even better for Smile in this position. And right now, Hunta is just still, all he's got is Lings out, and we're not going to see the attack of Smile hitting the neck really soon, but definitely Hunta's got to be on his toes. Really, his next tech choice, I think he really needs to get it out fast to be able to get that speed to deal with the drops we're going to see out of Smile, but Smile's still not on a second base. So right here, very worrisome for Smile if Hunta can take this back. And what was that O of excitement coming out of you, Trigonal?
I was just kind of looking at Hunter's. Obviously, he's broken down the rocks to get a little bit of safety, but Smile can actually just lift over them because medevacs are.
That would be even better. That would actually be the optimal thing to do. Oh wait, well,
yeah.
I would say that would be the optimal thing to do. You go to your opponent's base, you harass, and then maybe if you lose your entire army, you can still pull back. But Hunter throwing down spores, double Evo chamber. No, still not really making a tech choice yet. I mean, he is getting more gas, but he still hasn't got roaches, or I mean, he still hasn't actually got the building up yet.
Yeah, not just yet. He is going to be getting those the melee upgrades though. So I mean, he's looking to be facing SFI style, but Smile is just pushing forwards with a bunch of Hellbats first. Completely ignoring that third base, is going to go straight up the main, trying to give Hunta as little time as possible to more friendly banelings. But actually, he doesn't have a baneling nest. This is almost just straight up GG. He has no answer for these Hellbats.
Yeah, as I was saying earlier, exactly. He doesn't have anything out, making 26 lings right now, and he does have these 4 queens, so with some good transfuses, maybe something, but there is no spine crawler to really deal with these hellbats where they are. Lings coming in from the right-hand side, actually, or it looks like they will try to get a flank here, but they can't really engage for a little while. Drones being pulled back to the natural. Lings still not coming in. These queens will be targeted down, losing 1 queen, no transfuses coming down. Lings on a full surround, we'll get 2, 3 Hellions, but there still looks like there's going to be barely too much right here for Hunta to deal with. Another Hellbat will go down, and just some nice transfusions so far. Hunter holding on, but so many Lings were forced out. But still, for Smile, I mean, his natural is only done right now.
Yeah, and I mean, Smile forced out a ton of Lings right there, but that wasn't just like a little Hellbat push like we saw a few games ago. This was kind of a Hellbat all in. He didn't kill like maybe 1 or 2 drones. He killed 3 drones. And that's it. Hunter is on 3 bases. Smile, as you said, just finished up his natural. I don't think it looks great for Smile here.
Especially when he broke down those rocks right there. That's exactly what I'm thinking with those Lings coming through. Is he wanted those rocks there, but I don't know if I'd call it an all-in, because I feel like an all-in would have hit earlier. It was a delayed all-in almost, and that really does not serve you well.
I mean, it wasn't 100% all-in because he's not out of it, but it was definitely something he was seriously committing to. However, he's got a follow-up here, and this one involves a Banshee, which is going to be a little bit more difficult to hold, but Hunter this time has the Banelings, and that's a huge difference.
Yeah, and these Banelings will be hitting from the back, actually, but it looks like they'll be... Oh, and I would have rather seen them coming from the back. They are engaging now. It looks like they will take out... Oh, actually waiting to attack and being taken out on the way. They're doing stuff. Lings cleaning up the rest of the Hellbats. Hellbats on the right-hand side being cleaned up too by this Queen, but this Banshee just does not have Cloak right here. So even with these Hellbats, barely actually might survive. I think they will be taken down. This Banshee does not have Cloak, and there's a Spore Crawler starting to work away on it. To boot, Hunta going into Spire, and he's only on 4 gas right now and has lost those workers in it, but still he's got a lot of gas saved up here. Yeah,
and Smile is continuing to bring Hellions into the fight, morph them into Hellbat. One is going to head towards the 3rd base, but it looks like he got taken out. The Baneling Nest goes down. No, it's not. Oh. The Banshee, 1 last hit on the Baneling Nest. It doesn't get it, but the hero Hellbat. Oh, the Baneling Nest explodes all over the place. But Lings swarm over the Hellbat's comrades and take him out. But yeah, I mean that's Smile's 2nd push, and he's now actually on 7 army supply to 23. He still doesn't do that much economic damage, but Hunter can't actually break up this ramp because he doesn't have a Baneling Nest.
It's still, though, it's literally 60 workers to 40. And it was actually 35 just a couple seconds ago. I mean, Hunta is so much of an economically, and really hardly lost anything in that attack. He did lose a couple drones right now. He has lost 8, but in this position, that's really not that much as a Zerg player. You just have such a big economy going. We see Smile moving into this factory play that we've seen from him in previous games, getting his tech labs up. So I'm guessing we're going to start seeing these tanks really kind of coming out for him. But I feel like right now, Hunta just has so much map control with these Lings. I'd love to see him take down the bottom rocks just to get any flanks if there is some sort of siege line coming down.
Maybe. I'm kind of wondering what Hunta does, because obviously he's kind of weakened those rocks. He's going to take this space up here. This is an interesting one. I don't think I've actually seen anybody take this space. Obviously, it's blocked off by these rocks, but it's a really obvious choice from taking the 3rd that Hunta has. He's also taken what I would consider the more conventional 3rd up here as a 4th base. So I think this is some really cool moves by Hunta. I've barely even really noticed this base down here because it's blocked off by rocks and so otherwise so inaccessible.
Right now we do have what looks like 8 mutas out, and the harassment's going to be interesting. Just because there's not that much anti-air. There's a couple of missile turrets coming up right now. The harassment won't hit yet, and it looks like it will be going for... Actually, sorry, there is Thor's, my bad. But these Mutalisks right now will have the map control still, just Hunta having very nice map control. Actually, Hunta does not have good map control yet, but he really has the potential with his unit composition, his creep spread, and his just control of the game so far. And I like to see him take that just a little bit more, maybe with a couple overlords around the map.
Yeah, I think so. He's taken advantage of his early lead as best he can by expanding as much as possible and obviously creeping up Smile's third bases and making sure it's going to be as difficult as possible for Smile to take one of them. And, you know, opening up a position for a fifth base as well. I think he's in a pretty decent spot. However, Smile's returning back to his old ways of Beck. And Hunter, obviously caught onto it now, but he's got Lingbei Muta upgrade, so I'm kind of wondering to see where he takes this, and whether he sticks on Lingbei Muta versus Mech, which is probably playable when he goes into the game with the large advantage as he does, or whether he just whether he starts to make a transition towards Roach Hydro. And obviously getting the Roach speed, so there's something of that in there, but I'm kind of wondering when it comes and how.
This is really nice from Hunta. Roach speed will definitely help him denying a lot of any bases that we see. Creep actually being taken out by Smile right here, but the third base is denied from Smile because of Overlords in each position, which is really, really good. Bandleague's moving in from the front, actually, all engaging head-on into the Terran army of Smile right here. They will not get too much damage done yet, actually. Mutalisk and these Lings forcing down the Thors. Coming for these Vikings right now. There's only Mutalisks left to take out these Vikings, but pretty much the entire ground army was slaughtered. And GG, as I say, there's no production coming out of Hunta or Smile right there. Hunta does take the second game. Really, that original attack was not all in.